Good morning to all of you. I welcomes to all in our lecture series on statistical mechanics. That is your core paper 14, belongs to your 6th semester of your BSc syllabus. Okay. So in our last class we have been discussed about ensemble. So we discussed three type of ensembles, uh, or three type of model we can say, which can be used in your statistical mechanics to analysis different type of systems. Okay, so this is your first ensemble, that is your micro canonical ensemble. In detail we have been discussed, but that video whatever we discussed in previous class or video, that was only qualitative explanation. Okay, so micro canonical ensemble, so these are the systems and this is your ensemble. uh, in that ensemble, these are the separated system which are separated by insulating walls. And for this microcanonical ensemble, density will be constant, and canonical ensemble, then grand canonical ensemble. In case of canonical ensemble, energy can be fluctuate, but TV and temperature, volume and a number of particle has to be constant for each system. Here in case of grand canonical ensemble, due to permeable conducting wall, particle can be transmitted from one system to another system, only for which number of particle and energy is going to be fluctuate. However, temperature, volume and chemical potential will be constant for each system. So whatever we discussed in our last class, that is, you can say, a qualitative explanation. Qualitative explanations. So to understand quantitatively how it can be used in our thermodynamics, or how it can be used in your statistical mechanics, for that we need to study about phase space in detail. What is the phase space, phase trajectory, and phase point, wait uh, phase point and ensemble, phase trajectory, pictorial representation of phase points. Actually these detail syllabus or course whatever I am going to be discuss in this video, in your BSc syllabus, may not, it will be directly, it has been written in the syllabus, but we need to discuss. Otherwise quantitatively whatever in your syllabus that we are going to discuss, other topics, at that time we have to use direct expressions. So only for that we need to discuss somewhat extra things, you can say, whatever not in your BSc syllabus, but here we are going to discuss. So with patience you have to write down and watch the video and write down your note. Okay, so before we have to go for the phase space and phase point, many different things, uh, first we have to somewhat go for the principle of statistical mechanics, or the so-called classical statistics, how it is importance, why it is need for us. Okay, so here I'm just reading the simple general things, maybe you know, but I suggest that you have to pause and write down in your note. Okay, so up to end of 17th century, physical phenomena were explained by use of ordinary laws of mechanics, the so-called Newtonian laws. But in certain cases where system contain large number of particles, these ordinary laws could not used due to mathematical complications. How? For example, if we are going to consider a large number of particles required to solve the equations equal to degree of freedom of that system. Suppose one particle is moving along, suppose I am giving example, moving along x-axis. So one equation we are going to be solved. If that particle moving in 3 dimensions, so we have to consider along 3 axes that we have to solve that equation. So if we are going to consider large number of particle, in that way number of degree of freedom will be increased, and along with number of solutions we have to be solved. So this complexity arised whenever we have used our laws of mechanics for large number of particles. So therefore it is impossible to solve the problem for a macroscopic body consisting about, here I written greater than or equal to 10 to the power 23 atom, means Avogadro number approximately atoms if we are going to consider, or more than that. For that case it will be impossible, next to impossible, to use the laws of mechanics and to solve the problems, cause to effect analogy. So such problems have been successfully solved by method of statistical mechanics. Okay, so these are the general things here I have been written. I suggest you have to write. Okay, the methods of statistical mechanics is not concerned with the actual motion of the individual particle of the system, but investigates some average or most probable or statistical properties. Here I underlined, so you have to remember. So statistical mechanics based upon average or most probable. This word you have to remember, because this word is going to be used many times in your this core paper. Okay, so most probable, average or most probable or statistical properties of the system without going into the interior details of the characteristics of its constituents. So here system is the assembled or collection, assemblize or collection of electrons, atoms, molecules, quanta, here quanta, etc. So if we are going to consider a system, the system means collection of electrons, atoms, molecules, like that. So before quantum mechanics or quantum theory has been discovered, that is based upon discrete energy level, Maxwell, Boltzmann, Gibbs, etc. at the time applied statistical methods, making the use of the classical physics. These statistical methods are known as classical statistics or Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics. Okay, so in general, Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics are called as so-called classical statistics. The classical statistics explained successfully many observed physical phenomena like temperature, pressure, energy, etc. However, but could not explain adequately several other phenomena like black body radiation, specific heat at low temperature, etc. These phenomena are explained by quantum statistics. Okay, so here this page I have written in general way that we have to know about what is the use of statistical mechanics or classical statistics. So I suggest that you have to write this page, pause the video and write down the page. But in this page only one word is important, only one word, that is your most probable. Most probable, that word is important, because this word is going to be used further in your first unit, second unit, you can say in this core paper itself. Okay, so most probable or the so-called average or statistical properties of the system is nothing but your called as the statistical mechanics, or statistical mechanics deals with average or the so-called most probable or statistical properties of the system instead of uh, interior detail of each constituents. Okay, that means if we have large number of particles, instead of each particle and its velocity going to be calculated, the stat mechanics or statistical mechanics is calculating average of this average speed of the all the particles. Okay, so that is the method, you can say, used in your statistical mechanics. Okay, so next we have to go for the phase space. So from here all the lines are important, so carefully you have to watch and try to perceive. In classical mechanics, The state of a system of particles at any given time is completely specified by the knowledge of position and momentum of each of its particle. Okay, so just now we have been discussed that the so-called statistical mechanics deals with large number of particles inside the system. So the so-called classical mechanics or classical statistical mechanics the state of a system of particles at any given time is completely specified by the knowledge of the position and momentum of each of its particle. No, this is the in the classical mechanics. So we know that in case of classical mechanics, suppose this is inside this box one particle will be there. The complete information about this particle means its position, what is its position and what is its momentum. Okay, so likewise if we have two particles inside the system, then what are the positions of the two particles and what are their corresponding momentums. This is x1 px1, x2 px2. So this is the main points that we need to specify the state of a system of particles at any given time completely. If we know its specified position and momentum, then we can define the system's behavior itself. Okay, now the instantaneous position of a particle, of a single particle, the instantaneous position of a single particle moving in 3D space is determined by three independent coordinates x, y, z, and instantaneous motion of a particle is described by the velocity components vx, vy, vz. Okay, or it can be said that momentum components px, py, pz. So if we are going to consider a particle, a single particle is moving in a 3D, moving in a three-dimensional space, its complete information means its position at a particular time, means its position coordinates x, y, z, and at that particular point, suppose at that particular point and particular time also, particular point and particular time, what are the velocity components. Along x-axis, what is the velocity? Along y-axis, what is the velocity? Along z-axis, what is the velocity? Or we can say along x-axis momentum, y-axis momentum, z-axis momentum. If we know these 6 parameters for a single particle which is moving in a 3D at a particular time t, I can know its behavior. Exactly what will be happen the next second. Suppose exactly at 10 a.m. I know what is its position and what is its momentum. So at the next fraction of second, 10:01 a.m., I can predict its path or predict its motion. Suppose at 10 a.m. I predicted that its position is xyz and its momentum along x-axis only, px, py is not there. So the next second also I can predict that particle will be, probability is that probability of particle moving along x-axis is more than other y and z. So we can predict that the particle is going to retain its motion along x-axis like that. So the instantaneous position of a single particle moving in 3D space is determined by three independent coordinates, that is your x, y, z, and instantaneous motion of a particle is described and its instantaneous motion of a particle is described. Instantaneous means at each and every second. Okay, instantaneous motion of a particle of that particle is described by velocity components vx, vy, vz, or it can be said that momentum components px, py, pz. Hence, this is important statement. Hence, the state of a single particle is then completely specified by position coordinates x, y, z and momentum coordinates px, py, pz. Okay, so the state of a single particle is then completely specified by state of means at a particular time what is its behavior. If at a particular time, that means 10 am, I know its xyz coordinate, I found xyz, also I found px, py, pz, at that time I can predict or I can determine its dynamics, or I can finalize, or I can say this is called as the dynamics of this particle, or the state of this particle. So if inside this 3D cube only single particle is there, so I can predict the behavior of system, because system is only single particle system at that particular time, So hence the state of single particle is then completely specified by position coordinates xyz and momentum coordinates px, py, pz. Okay, let generalized position coordinates is denoted as qy, that is q1 is x, q2 is y, q3 is z, and momentum coordinates pi, that is your p1 equal to px, p2 equal to py, p3 equal to pz, for our convenience in our writing in our preceding pages, okay, preceding sections. So here I depends on number of particles. This I is depends upon the number of particles, later to be discussed. Okay, later to be discussed means in our preceding sections that we are going to discuss. For a diatomic system, for a dynamic system, for a dynamic system, qi is qit. That means the position for anyone that maybe belongs to x, y, z. Here qy is function of time. Here t means function of time. Dynamics means itself it is the function of time. That means here is the particle initially it will be there, so it is moving, means position changes with respect to time. Each and every time its position changes. So obviously its generalized coordinate qi is the function of time. It is written is the function of time, and pi equal to pi function of t is also the function of time. Okay, that means with time both position and momentum of particle or particles, if we are going to consider more than one atom will be present in the system, then particle or particles for a dynamic system has to be changed. That means if somewhere we are going to be interact the word dynamics means changes of generalized coordinate and momentum with respect to time. That means generalized coordinate and momentum both are function of time. Okay, now therefore with the help of qit and pit, that means generalized coordinates, these are the generalized coordinates and generalized momentums at a particular time, one can found phase space trajectory. So generalized coordinate at a different time, here the function of time means at different time, and its generalized momentums at a different time, one can found phase space trajectory of a particle or particles. What is the phase space trajectory? This is called the phase space trajectory. I am giving example. One particle is moving like this, means each and every second its momentum and position is changes. Each and every time its position and momentum has been changed. So here in 3D the dynamics is this one. Okay, this 3D is belongs to xyz and px py pz coordinates. But if we are going to be draw its change of generalized coordinate with respect to change of its momentum, that means we have to consider along this side, along x-axis qt and along y-axis pt, then its uh, trajectory may be like this, suppose. So each and maybe like this, so each and every time its position has been changed and momentum also changed. Okay, so this is called the so-called your uh, phase space trajectory. Here I given one example, but another example you can see here for one dimensional motion. Okay, so note here I written one note, that is phase space trajectory is the mathematical representation of a dynamic system. Okay, so phase space trajectory means it is a mathematical representation. So this is the view, our naked eye view that the particle is moving like this. So how we are going to represent this mathematically? That is your phase space trajectory diagram. Means moment position at different times corresponding momentum, whatever the trajectory, that is the this is the mathematical representation. Okay, so here I am giving one example, that consider a ball is starts to move with a velocity v along x-axis. This one along a path, a hump is there. Hump, you just consider a slope, large slope, not humps on the road. Yes, consider a large slope of height. Suppose you consider this height is, suppose you consider uh, 10 meter. Okay, one slope, large slope, 10 meter, not small hump on the road, large hump. And along the path a hump, that means height is 10 meter is present, but ball has enough energy can cross the hump. Okay, by considering friction, draw the phase space trajectory of the ball in phase space. So what we discussed, that phase space means q versus p. That means your q versus p diagram is your phase space diagram. So this is the dynamics of one ball is moving with a velocity, just starts from here with a velocity. From here, whatever the velocity, that ball have enough energy can cross this 10 meter height hump. Okay, so what will be its phase space trajectory? You just imagine, if we are going to consider the friction, then whenever starts from x equal 0, due to friction its speed is going to be decrease. Okay, so the if it is moving along x-axis, positive x-axis, then its x coordinate changes or increased with time. So along this side, here see, this is not the your our traditional Cartesian coordinate, remember it. This is not traditional Cartesian coordinate. You should not be think that this is x-axis and this is y-axis. No, this is the representation of change of coordinate or generalized coordinate with respect to time. Okay, and this is changes of generalized momentum with respect to time, corresponding generalized momentum with respect to time. Here is just watch that whenever its velocity is whenever starts from x equal 0, due to friction its velocity gradually decreases, but it is moving towards positive x-axis direction. So with time passed, its x-axis value is increases, so x-axis value should be increases. So let at initial the momentum will be this one, due to friction its momentum, as speed is decreased, so obviously its momentum is going to be decreased. So whenever it starts to raise the hump, its velocity suddenly decreases. Sharply decrease of velocity we can found up to its top. when it starts to rise or starts to climb the hump up to its top points, its velocity suddenly decreases and come to its minimum value. So when it is fall from this top, again velocity increases up to this much. And here another interesting thing, important thing is that this velocity should be equal. This velocity should not be equal to previous one. This velocity should be equal to this one. Okay, whatever the potential energy it has to be gain, same kinetic energy it has to be lose. So here the velocity will be approximately equal to this one. Okay, if we have to consider the friction, it will be more or less but equal to this one at this point. So when it will fall from this top of this hump, then its velocity again increases. So velocity increases means momentum increases. Then when it will reach here, again its velocity starts to decrease whenever it will move towards this side. So its momentum gradually decreases and come to the rest if we have to consider the friction. So this is nothing but called as your trajectory or the phase space trajectory of this ball. Okay, so this ball is moving along one dimensionally, but in the phase space we have two dimension. So for one dimensional motion we got two dimensional phase space, and this is your phase trajectory. So phase trajectory and phase space concept is most important for this topic, so try to be watch carefully and perceive it. Okay, next another example for you, you just watch it. Okay, so here this is your phase trajectory of this ball. In this phase space, this is one dimensional motion, but in case of phase space, the phase space is two dimensional. So this is the another question for you, that a bob of a simple pendulum which undergo a small oscillation, it is oscillating with a small amplitude, suppose initially, is immersed in water. Then find its correct phase space diagram or phase space trajectory from the options. So these are the options. So the dynamics is that this one is the dynamics. A bob is oscillating with a small oscillation. There is no restriction, it is oscillating like this. Okay, so whenever we are going to be immerse this one in the water, then what will happen? Its amplitude gradually decreases and it will rest. Okay, so here you can see, if I am going to consider this will be x equal to 0, then this bob is moving positive x-axis, negative x-axis also, and its momentum have also positive value, means increasing. This direction position momentum means it is a vector quantity. So if it is moving this side, if we are going to consider positive, then it is moving backward, means we have to consider negative. So momentum also positive and negative. So as its amplitude gradually decreases, hence its continuously velocity or energy decreases, corresponding momentum magnitude also is going to be decreases, and at last we can get 0 value. Okay, so here from the phase space, you can phase space diagram, here you can see that in your first option it is that your momentum is decreased with increase of position, then with decrease of with increase of position, when decrease of position coordinate, again it is increased with opposite way, and again it is moving to highest position, momentum is moved to the zero value, then it is moved to the highest value. That means the momentum amplitude is oscillates from this point to this point. So here, for if in this option the momentum value is positive, suppose it is a positive a to negative a, that means for each cycle its momentum is not going to be, momentum amplitude is not going to be changed, but here its momentum amplitude or momentum value with time gradually decreased, and at last it is zero. It will be rest whenever we are going to be immersed in the water. So if we are going to consider this, this could not be considered. If we are going to consider this one, then its momentum, see, for the particle starts from here, the momentum amplitude was this one, for again it is increased, that means it is continuously increased, so it could not be accepted. Here momentum magnitude is oscillates with the same value, suppose it is plus a minus a, that means momentum amplitude is not decreased, so this option also not to be acceptable. Here you can see momentum is, suppose here initially this value, and it is gradually decreased and come to the rest. So this option will be most appropriate as compared with other three. So phase space trajectory, here you can see that in your phase space trajectory, that means a variation of p corresponding to its q, this trajectory is called as, or this graph is called as phase space trajectory. Okay, this graph is called as phase space trajectory. So here you can justify its motion, its dynamics. Okay, see, initially it was, suppose its highest position, so whenever it will be reduced or moving this side, that means momentum towards negative, it's decreased momentum. Here I am telling that at here at highest position means here I am telling here. So whenever it starts from this side, that means this side means towards zero, this is moving towards zero means its momentum moving, or momentum value is moving like this and reaches at some highest position, then with decrease of momentum coming to the zero, okay, towards the another side of the position axis, we can say this is your suppose positive x-axis and this is your negative x-axis. So after crossing this point, it reaches at zero momentum along negative side of x-axis, we can say like this. So again another revolution, or for another oscillation, whenever it starts from here, again its momentum decreases, but it has some it's again its momentum increases, but with a decrease of its magnitude. So this is the appropriate answer as compared with other threes. Okay, so next we have to go for another simple question. You can see that find the trajectory in phase space of a ball is bouncing on a plane z equal to 0, which is perfectly elastic. That means z equal to 0 means it is your xy plane, this is your xy plane, z equal to 0, xy plane, this is your xy plane, and it is bouncing means along z axis it is bouncing, it is z axis, along z axis is bouncing, that means this ball is bouncing like this, up and down. So as it is elastic, this ball comes to here and again strikes the floor or xy plane, again moved to the highest point where momentum will be 0, and then come to the floor where velocity or momentum will be highest, again moving back to its highest position, like that. To and fro or up and down motion on the xy plane along z axis. Okay, so here what will be the correct phase space diagram? So if we are going to choose, suppose B, here you can see B means, here you can see the motion is representing that along positive and negative z axis, but here the motion not in the negative z axis, the motion or the dynamics not in the negative z axis, so obviously this could not be acceptable. Here this is represents that also motion along positive and negative z axis, also this could not be acceptable. So fourth one is represents that, suppose we are going to increase the z, its momentum is increases. Is it so? If increasing the z, its momentum is decreases, because whenever the ball is moving upward, the meantime z value is increases, along with its velocity is decreases or momentum is decreases. But however, in this figure, with increasing of z, its momentum is increases. So this representation not to be acceptable, this one not acceptable, this also not acceptable. The answer will be A. The answer will be A. See, here you just match this phase trajectory and this dynamics. It will be match, or exactly it will be match. See, whenever, suppose we are going to consider this curve, okay, this trajectory. So whenever z is increases up to its highest position, the momentum is decreases and to be 0. The z increases to its highest position, the momentum is 0, because v will be 0, obviously momentum will be 0. Okay, so again from here the ball starts fall to the floor xy. So when it will come back towards the floor, its momentum or velocity increases, so hence momentum increases. So when at the striking point, when it will strike the floor, its momentum will be highest. So here you can see that when the z is decreases, the z is decreases means it is moving towards floor, so hence z is decreases. So when z is decreases, the momentum is also, the momentum is increases but in other direction. So if this way we have been considered positive, so this way we have to consider negative. Okay, so in other direction, that means the momentum increases in this direction. As momentum is vector, so we have been considered in the negative direction and reaches its highest. Okay, so this option will be acceptable. So here you can see three curves are there. So suppose somebody is going to tell that at the initial the amplitude will be this one, so for that, for him this curve will be acceptable. So other person is going to say that the amplitude will be this one, so this curve will be acceptable. Other person, so on the base of different amplitude, so different curves will be considered. However, the dynamics will be same. The dynamics will be same. Okay, so this is called as the phase space trajectory of a dynamics, this one and this one. Okay, so here phase space trajectory, how we are getting, how we got the phase space trajectory, here you carefully you have to watch. The ball starts from here, starts from here means x equal 0. The coordinate suppose is 0. So with time passed, its coordinate along x-axis means it is increases. So with time it is increases. So here the ball in the dynamics means in your phase space, this is phase space, the q and p, whatever the space created, that is called the phase space. This is called the phase space. Okay, phase space. So in this space initially the point will be here when the ball starts at x is equal 0. When time passed, this point is moved or changes its location like this in phase space. Again I repeat that with time passed, a point on the phase space changes its location in the phase space. So at last, so in this way we can get a trajectory or a curve that will be called as phase space trajectory, or only trajectory, somewhere it has been written, or you can say phase space curve. Okay, trajectory curve, like different type of languages, different names has been written in different books. So in phase space the point is corresponds to the ball. In this example, this point is correspond to the ball. Here the point is not the ball, this point is location of the ball. Location and its corresponding momentum is represents this ball. Any one of the point in the phase space represents at a particular time, any point in the phase space at a particular time represents the position of the ball and corresponding momentum at that time. So with as p is the function of time, q is the function of time, obviously this point is going to be change its location. So when it will change its location, we can found the trajectory, which will be called the phase space trajectory or trajectory. Same way this curve also we got, same way this curve also we got. When the z increases, the point changes its location in this space, this is called the phase space, okay, this is called the phase space. Position and momentum space is called as the phase space. So in the position and momentum space or phase space, the point changes its location with time, due to which we can found trajectory or phase space trajectory. So the same thing it has been written. From the above examples, it is found that the trajectory or phase space trajectory means a point changes its location in the so-called QP plane, or that is called the phase space. This is all are the one-dimensional motion. We are going to consider two-dimensional and three-dimensional also. So here in all the examples, the particle motion is 1D, one-dimensional, but its corresponding phase space is two-dimensional. No need to write, but just write and. Okay, here in all the examples the particle motion is one-dimensional and its corresponding phase space is two-dimensional. Okay, so in the three examples the particle motion, here the particle motion is one-dimensional, here the particle motion is one-dimensional, and in this case the particle motion is one-dimensional, but phase space dimension is how much? Phase space dimension is two-dimensional. Okay, two-dimensional. So before to determine the phase space trajectory for 2D and 3-dimensional motion, carefully you have to watch and listen. It needs to find out phase space dimension. Okay, for one-dimensional motion we found two-dimensional phase space, right? So for two-dimensional motion, that means if a ball is moving in two-dimensional, that means this is x-axis, y-axis. If it is moving this way along two-dimensional, then what will the phase space dimension? Then we can find out the phase space trajectory, no? So before to determine the phase space trajectory for two-dimensional, three-dimensional motion or dynamics, I can write motion or dynamics. I can write dynamics. It needs to find out the phase space dimension. Okay, we have to find out the phase space dimension for different cases. Means if the particle is moving in two-dimensional, what will the phase space dimension? If the particle is moving three-dimensional, then what will the phase space dimension? In detail we are going to be discussed. Wait, the phase space dimension also depends upon the number of particles and types of particles. That the particle here we considered, here we have been considered, suppose instead of ball, see, instead of ball, we are going to consider a particle. Here particle is monoatomic, but in reality we are going to be in the so-called your statistical mechanics is going to be used for atoms, molecules, like that. So in case of ball, we are going to consider, suppose this is one atom is moving this way, so its phase space diagram along x-axis, so phase space diagram will be two-dimensional, right? So if this particle will be considered having two diatomic, then what will be the dimension of the phase space? If monoatomic or single atom, then it is two-dimensional. If it is diatomic, means the phase space dimension will be same too, or it will be changed. That we are going to be discuss. So here same thing, it has been written that phase space dimension also depends upon the particles and types, number of particles and types of particles. Here the ball is considered as one single particle. So here particle may be monoatomic, may be diatomic, may be triatomic, anything. Okay. So for different types of particle and number of particles. So here we can say the one monoatomic particle is moving, or two monoatomic particle or three monoatomic particle is moving. That also we don't know. If the number of particle is going to be changed, the dimension of phase space also is going to be changed. So the dimension of the phase space depends upon the two things. One is number of particles, number of particles, and types of particle. So don't be confused here the word particle. Here the particle is represented maybe monoatomic or diatomic or triatomic. Okay, so here practical language here used, but this is represents maybe mono, dia, triatomic. That we are going to discuss in detail. So here one thing I have been written, what such as in example 1, if we consider two balls. Okay, here two balls are moving along x-axis. See, if we have here we have one ball. Okay, one ball is moving, its phase space dimension is 2. Suppose two ball is moving one after another, then with particular time its corresponding x and its corresponding x position is going to be different. It is maybe it is at suppose at time t equal to 0, at time t equal to 0, suppose at time t equal to 0, both are at x equal to 0, both are at x equal to 0. So this is moved with a velocity v1, this is moved with a velocity v2. Don't draw these things, I'm just explaining. so don't do extra things, the diagram will be so complex. Okay, so suppose two balls at time t equal 0, both are at x equal 0, and suppose v1 velocity given to this ball and v2 velocity given to this ball, and v1 greater than that of the v2. So obviously after 1 minute, after 1 minute or after time t, the position of ball, this one, will be different to this one. If the position of ball, this one, is 1 meter, this one may be 0.5 meter. So if the position is different, corresponding momentum also different, because both are different velocities, means obviously its momentum will be different and position is also different. So this ball has a own trajectory in its own phase space, that is your x1 px1, and this ball have its own trajectory in another dimension, that is x2 px2. Okay, so for this ball, this is one dimension, for this ball, this is another dimension, but however both the balls are moving in the same axis at a same time. Both the ball are moving at same time, so only for that these two coordinates are going to be add up. So we can get like that, x1 x2 px1 and px2. So the phase space having the 4 dimensional. So if two particles we are going to be consider for this, or two ball we are going to be consider, the phase space will be 4 dimensional. So like that, if the number of particle is going to be changed, the dimension of the phase space is going to be changed, and if the number of the if the type of particle is going to be changed, then also the so-called phase space dimension is going to be changed. That we are going to be discuss in detail. Okay, that is your dimension of phase space. So here I suggest that whatever we discussed up to till now, pause the video, write down the note. Okay, pause the video, write down the note. So next we have to discuss the dimension of phase space. Okay, so we have been discussed just now that the dimension of phase space depends upon the number of particles and type of particle, that we are going to be discuss with the help of 3 examples. Just watch. A phase space can divide into 2 types. So here in general the phase space 2 types. One is mu space, okay, that is phase space for which system contains only single particle. If the system have single particle, it will be called as the mu space. Okay, that means here for one particle, whatever we consider, for one particle we consider one phase space, another particle we consider another phase space. So here this phase space will be called as mu space. So if I am going to combine these two mu space, then it will be tau space, or the so-called phase space of the whole system, or the so-called ensemble, that we are going to discuss in detail. See, that is phase space for which system contains only single particle will be called as the mu space. Tau space, here one thing I am going to say to you, that some books they have been written this is gamma, instead of tau they are written gamma. So here some of the book written tau, some of the book written gamma, so you just write tau. Okay, tau space means the phase space for which system contains more than one particle. If the system have more than one particle, then that phase space will be called as tau space. Okay, so here tau space will be called as addition of all the mu space, all the mu spaces. That means here we consider that two particles moving along x-axis. So for this particle, suppose this is the mu space, for this particle mu space this one. So if I am going to consider this is one of the system, the dynamics of these two particle is the one of the system, then this two is going to be add up and it will form the tau space. So tau space is the sum of the mu space. So here particle may be monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic, etc. molecule. Okay, what is that? We discussed, and also here we are going to be discuss in detail. You just watch carefully. To find mu space and tau space dimension, degree of freedom of a particle in the system is needed. So here degree of freedom, this is small f, okay, degree of freedom small f of a particle. So here particle means atom or molecule. I am going to be say to you one with an example. Suppose in this box one particle is moving, so this particle may be monoatomic, may be diatomic, okay, may be monoatomic, may be diatomic, may be triatomic. So collectively I can say this is particle. So only for that it is written that so if it is diatomic means it will be molecule, di or triatomic means it will be molecule. Okay, so here particle whatever I am telling, that is maybe atom or molecule in d dimensions is f equal to dn minus k. Okay, dn minus k. So degree of freedom f of a particle in d dimensions is f equal to dn minus k. Here f is your degree of freedom and d is the dimension in which it moves. It is moving in 3 dimension, or it is moving 2 dimensional, or it is moving 1 dimensional. D is represents that one. K is the constraints or restrictions, which direction or along which axis it could not be moved. That is the K represents the number of constraints. These are the numbers. Okay, these are the numbers. N is the number of particles, that may be atoms in the original particle. Number of particles, atoms in the original particles. Number of constituent particles. Okay, number of constituent particles or atoms in original particle. This you have to clearly understand. See, in this 3D space, here D is means, here I written small letter, so you have to understand that one. Small d, a triatomic molecule is moving. A triatomic molecule is moving. So this triatomic molecule is considered as particle. That is your, this is your what is called the original particle. That means this is whole is called as the particle. So in this particle, how many numbers of particles are present, or how many numbers of atoms are present, that represents this small n. That represents small n. So suppose we are going to consider in this 3D box 5 diatomic molecules are present. Diatomic molecules means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 5 particles are present. 5 particles are present. That means n is 5 particles present means total number is n. But in each particle, if I am going to be zoom it, if I am going to zoom this each particle, it will be consisting of 2 atoms. That means in each particle 2 particles are there or 2 atoms are there. So here it is written that n is the, so here n will be equal to 2. So here n is the number of constituent particles or atoms, constituent particles or atoms in the original particle. Original particle means this is the original particle. This way you have to understand. In any way you have to remember, no problem, but I written in this language, you just try to understand. Okay, so here for monoatomic it will be 1. If we are going to consider monoatomic, then n will be 1. For dia will be 2. For triatomic, this n will be 3. Here with example I have been written this much. Here I given one example. Consider a gas of diatomic molecules. That one, diatomic molecules. Okay, so initially to find the degree of freedom of the particle, that means individual molecule, for this case constituent particles or atoms are 2. So to finding the degree of freedom of this particle, the constituent atom we need to know, the constituent atoms are 2. If this is a triatomic, then n will be equal to 3. Okay, now dimension of mu space will be double time of degree of freedom. If we have to consider a single particle and its degree of freedom is f, then dimension of the phase space or the mu space for the single atom or the single particle will be double of the degree of freedom, 2 into f. Dimension of tau space will be the addition of the number of particles present in the whole system, That means here I am going to give one example. Suppose in the 3D, two particles are there, two monoatomic particles. Each monoatomic particle degree of freedom is how much? Degree of freedom f will be how much? The formula is dn minus k. D is 3, so n is 1. Each particle have constituent particles are 1, because it is monoatomic. 1 minus 0, that means 3. So degree of freedom of each particle is 3. For the mu space means if I am going to consider the container contents in this cube only one particle is there, then it will be mu space. For this mu space, the dimension will be 2f. Dimension of mu space will be 2f for the single particle. Okay, if two particle we are going to consider, then it will be summation of mu space, that means 2f plus 2f, like that, or we can say 2 into 2f, because number of particles is 2. If the number of particles will be 5, then it will 5 into 2f. If the number of particles will be n, then n into 2f, like that. Okay, so dimension of tau space will be summation over mu I equal to 1 to n, that will be n into 2f. Here n is the number of particles in the system. Okay, now we have to go for the different situations. Dimension of mu space and corresponding tau space in 3D, 2D, 1D motion of a particle mono, dia, triatomic molecule. Each and everything I have been discussed. So I suggest that in this format you have to write in your note. Maybe it will take some much more space, and this much in detail not in your syllabus, but this basic things you need to know. Okay, so one by one we are going to do, not to be hurry. Okay, So three-dimensional, two-dimensional, one-dimensional motion of the particle, mono, dia, triatomic molecule, and we have to consider mu space and corresponding tau space. So first, three-dimensional motion, mu space and corresponding tau space. For here, in all the cases, to finding the tau space, I have been considered only 5 particles. Okay, 5 particles. So first, for the mu space, we have to consider one particle. So first we are considered monoatomic particle moving in 3D space. That is your figure 1a. This is your original particle, monoatomic. Okay, so degree of freedom will be dn minus k. D is 3, degree of freedom is 3, number of particles or atoms in the original particle will be 1. So 3 into 1 minus the constraints. There is no constraint, it can move in any direction, so it will be 0. So 3. The dimension of the mu space will be equal to 2 into f, or 2 into 3 equal to 6. Okay. That means this is called as the 6-dimensional phase space. That means for this case, mu space is 6-dimensional. That means here q1 is x, q2 is y, q3 is z, p1, p2, p3 are px, py, pz. Okay. Now we have to consider the tau space by considering 5. Here I consider 5 monoatoms are in motion in 3D. We know that for the tau space we have to consider more than one particle. So here particle is monoatomic. Okay, here particle is monoatomic. So for the tau space we consider 5 monoatomic atoms are in the motion in 3D here in figure 1b. If the system contains 5 particles, the dimension of the tau space will be how much? That will be n into 2f, right? So number of particles are n into 2 into f. 2f already we got 6. So 5 into 6 equal 30. So this expression also can be written as 2 into n into f. 2 into 5 into 3 will be 30. No problem. Nothing will be problem. This 30, this is called 30-dimensional tau space or phase space. So here we found if 5 monoatomic particles is moving in 3-dimensional, then its phase space will be 30-dimensional. Phase space will be 30-dimensional, or the so-called tau space will be 30-dimensional. Okay. So some other expressions here I extracted from here. I have been written, you just watch. In the above equation, NF, see NF represented independent position coordinates of an entire particles or degree of freedom of ensemble. Okay, so whenever we are going to consider, see, the particles are moving, particles inside the system. This situation I can say that the particles inside the system. So when this particles dynamics is going to be represented in a phase space, then I can say the systems are in the ensemble. You just listen, these things we are going to be discuss in our preceding sections. Here I am going to tell to you. This is 2 particles. So this is the system, particles in the system. Whenever it will be represented in phase space Q and P, then the corresponding points will be called as systems. These corresponding points will be called as systems, and this whole space will be called as ensemble. Okay, so here, as we have been considered the 5 particles, So collectively this 5 particles dimension, each particle's dimension is how much? F. So for n particles dimension means it will be n into f. So for each particle's dimension is f. For n particles dimension will be nf. So this nf is represents, sorry, I told wrongly. For each particle's degree of freedom, each particle's degree of freedom is f, and for n number of particles if we are going to consider, then the degree of freedom will be nf. Okay, so here n is considered as whole system. Here n particles are inside the whole system. So here nf is the degree of freedom will be for the ensemble. Okay, so here f is the degree of freedom for one particle, nf is the degree of freedom for the ensemble. Okay, that means ensemble means the number of systems inside the phase space, or the number of particles in the phase space. That means this degree of freedom is required to determine the phase space. So hence this degree of freedom nf will be called as the degree of freedom of the ensemble, which contains the systems. I told that whenever this dimension is going to be transformed to the phase space, then these points will be called as the system, and the whole entire space will be called as the ensemble. Okay, or phase space of the ensemble, phase space of the ensemble. Okay, so here nf, capital nf, is represent the degree of freedom of ensemble. Okay, so now here dimension of tau space, if the degree of freedom of total ensemble is f, then the dimension will be 2 into f, because here degree of freedom of one particle is f and the dimension will be 2 into f. So here nf is the degree of freedom of the whole ensemble. So hence dimension of the whole ensemble will be a whole ensemble, or you can say whole phase space. Whole ensemble, or you can say whole phase space. This is whole phase space, or you can say ensemble. So if nf is the degree of freedom in the ensemble, then the total dimension of the ensemble will be 2 into nf. 2 into nf. So in this example, nf is 15, 1 5. So obviously dimension of tau space will be 2 into 15. 5 into 3 is 15, equal to 30. Okay. Now next we have to consider mu space and corresponding tau space for two-dimensional, okay, but monoatomic. So monoatomic particle moving in two-dimensional space. So in the two-dimensional space, this is a monoatomic particle. The degree of freedom will be how much? dn minus k. D is the dimension, n is the constituent particles, k is the constant. Dimension is 2, constituent particle is 1, k constant is 0 to 2. So dimension of the mu space will be equal to 2 into f equal to 4. This is called the 4-dimensional phase space. So that is it can be represented as q1 x, q2 equal to y, p1 and p2 will be px and py. Now if we are going to consider 5 monoatomic particles or atoms are in 2D, that is figure 2b, then dimension of tau space will be n into 2f. N into 2f. N is 5 into 2f is 4 equal to 20. So this expression can be written in this form as 2 into nf. So here NF is nothing but your degree of freedom of ensemble, that equal to 10. Okay, so 2 into capital F. Here degree of freedom of ensemble is represented as capital F. Okay, so 2 into 5 into 2 equal to also 20. So that implies tau space is 20 dimensional. So here NF equal to capital F equal to 10 is the degree of freedom of the ensemble, or in either way, in this way, dimension of tau space will be 2 into capital F equal to 20. Now we have to consider the monoatomic particle moving in one dimensional motion. Degree of freedom F equal to dn minus k, 1 into 1 minus 0, 1. Dimension of mu space will be 2 into F equal to 2, whatever for our ball case. Ball is moving and its dimension in the phase space is this situation. Dimension of the phase space is 2, and here also we mathematically we found also 2. This is called two-dimensional phase space, or we can say one positional coordinate and one momentum coordinate. So two-dimensional. So now if we are going to consider 5 monoatoms are in one dimensional motion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this case, dimension of tau space will be dimension of tau space or tau space phase space, like that you can say. Dimensional of phase space, two-dimensional phase space. Okay, no problem. Any way you can pronounce it. Dimension of tau space or dimension of tau space phase space. Okay, so it will be n into 2f will be equal to 5 into 2 equal to 10. Okay, so 5 into 2, 10. So another way it can be written is 2 into nf. This n into f equal to capital F. Capital F is nothing but is your 5. This is nothing but your degree of freedom of ensemble. Okay, so 2 into f, 2 into capital F also 10. So here nf equal to f is 5 is called the degree of freedom of ensemble, and for this case dimension of tau space or phase space contains 5 monoatoms moving along one dimension is 10. Okay, now we have to go for the mu space for the diatomic particle. Okay, diatomic particle corresponding mu space and tau space. So now we have to consider diatomic particle. Okay, moving in 3D. Diatomic particle means this whole is considered as one particle, but this particle have 2 atoms. So only for that it is called the diatomic. Understood? Okay. Now in this figure 4a, along these 2 particles could not be moved. So this one axis has been constrained. So now degree of freedom will be dn minus k. D is 3-dimensional. N is here constituent atoms in this particle, whole particle. Constituent atoms are 2 minus 1 constraints minus 1, so it will be 5. So hence dimension of mu space will be 2f 10. Now we have to consider 5 diatomic molecules for tau space in 3 dimensions, which will be in figure 4b. Here for the tau space, as per our formula, it will be n into 2f. N is 5, 2f is 10, so it will be 50. So it can be rewritten as 2 into nf or 2 into f. F is your degree of freedom of ensemble, total whole ensemble of the ensemble. Okay, 2 into f. Here f equal to f equal to 25 because n is 5 and degree of freedom is 5. So nf equal to 25 or f equal to 25, also 50. So here f, capital F equal to 25 or degree of freedom of ensemble. Okay. So here we can say that the dimension of the phase space or the tau space is 50. I not written, you have to write it here. The dimension is, no, here it is written, no? Dimension of tau space is 50. Okay, no need to write again and again. So again, diatomic molecule in 2D space. If 2D space, then D equal to 2, N equal to 2 constituent atoms minus 1. It will be 3. Dimension of mu space equal to 2 into F equal to 2 into 3 equal to 6. Similarly, if we are going to consider 5 atoms for the tau space, it will be N into 2F equal to 30, or it can be written as 2 into NF. NF is nothing but 15. 5 into 3, 15. This NF is nothing but called as capital F, or the so-called degree of freedom of ensemble. So hence the dimension of the tau space also can be found in this way, that 2 into capital F, 2 into 15 equal to 30. Okay, 30 dimensional tau space for this case we can get. Now we have to go for a diatomic molecule, a single diatomic molecule moving 1D, that is in figure 6a. So it is moving along one dimensional. One dimensional means the D will be 1, N will be 2, this will be 1, so it will be 1. So dimension of the mu space will be 2F equal to 2. Here see, mu space means this whole is considered as one particle. So considering one particle, the phase space is nothing but called the mu space. Considering more than one particle, that this particle may be diatomic, monoatomic, triatomic. Considering more than one particle, that space will be called as the tau space. So here we consider 5 for our example, considering the 5 particles or 5 diatomic molecules. So 5 diatomic molecules moving in 1D, then in the figure 6b, here for this case, the dimension will be N into 2F. N is 5, 2F is 2, equal to 10. So it can be written as 2 into NF, or F equal to 5. Also it can be written as 10. See, whatever the degree of freedom for the single particle, whatever the degree of freedom, single particle, small f, then dimension of the phase space will be 2 into F. And this small f represents the position coordinate axis. Similarly, in case of ensemble, whatever the degree of freedom of the ensemble, 2 into F will be its dimension. Because if this small f is represents the position coordinates, then corresponding momentum coordinates will be there. So suppose this is 3, so that means x, y, z will be there, suppose. So corresponding px, py, pz will be there. Okay, whatever the f, that means it is represents the x coordinates. Okay, so corresponding momentums coordinates also we have to consider. So only for that 2 into F. So like that, for the ensemble, if degree of freedom is F, dimension of the tau space will be 2 into F. Okay, so now we have to go for the triatoms. A triatom moving in 3D in this figure 7a. You can see 7a. First we have to consider the linear triatomic, then we have to consider non-linear. Linear means like this way, non-linear triatomic means this way. It has to be arranged. For the linear, here degree of freedom will be D is 3 dimension 3, N is the total number of constituent atoms is 3, and K is 2. Here one constant, that in this way these two particles or atoms could not be moved. This is another constant, 2 constants, so minus 2, it will be 7. So dimension of the mu space will be 2 into F, 14. So now if we have to consider similar type of 5 triatomic molecules, then what will the dimension? N into 2F, that will be 70. Okay, also it can be written as 2 into capital into small f, or 2 into F, that will 2 into 35. Here 35 is your degree of freedom of your ensemble. So 2 into degree of freedom of ensemble is equal to 70. So this is nothing but your 70 dimensional space. If triatomic molecules, 5 molecules moving in 3D, then its phase space dimension is 70. Phase space dimension is 70, or tau space dimension is 70. Now we have to consider non-linear. In case of non-linear, this F is going to be changed. How? D is 3, N is constituent atoms is 3. Here 1, 2, 3 constants. So minus 3 equal to 6. So dimension of the mu space will be 2 into F, 12. The dimension of the tau space, considering the 5 similar type of triatomic molecules, it will be N into 2F will be equal to 5 into 12 equal to 260. Can be written in this way, 2 into NF. NF is nothing but is your F will be 30. So 2 into 30 will be 60. So if we have to consider 5 non-linear triatomic molecules moving in 3D, then its phase space or tau space dimension is 60. Tau space dimension. Hence the dimension of tau space or phase space dimension of these 5 triatomic molecules moving in 3D is 60. Okay. Next we have to go for the triatom moving in 2D. First we have to consider linear, then we have to go for the non-linear. Linear 2D means D equal to 2, N equal to 3 minus K equal to 2 equal to 4. Dimension of the mu space will be obviously 2 into 4 equal to 8. So considering 5 similar type of molecules, the dimension of the tau space will be N into 2F equal to 5 into 8 equal to 40. Okay. So N, it can be written as N 2 into NF. Okay, N into 2F equal to 2 into NF or 2 into F. Here F is nothing but 5 into 4. 5 into 4. N into F, 5 into 4 into 20. So 2 into F also 40. So here, if we have to consider 5 triatomic molecules moving in 2D, then its tau space dimension or phase space dimension will be 40. So likewise, if we are going to consider n number of triatomic molecules, here n equal to 5. If we are going to consider n equal to 10, then it will be 80. Okay. So for this case, tau space dimension will be 40. Now we have to consider non-linear case. Non-linear case means the K will be equal to 3, so it will be F equal to 3. Dimension of mu space will be equal to 6. Dimension of tau space will be equal to 5 into 6 equal to 30. It can be written as 2 into NF. Here F will be equal to 15. Also in this way also we got 15. What is the meaning of 15 here? 15 is the degree of freedom of ensemble. DOF I written shortly, degree of freedom of ensemble. Here also I written DOF, that means degree of freedom. So degree of freedom of ensemble. So 2F equal to 2 into 15 equal to 30 is the dimension of tau space. Again I repeat, whenever 5 triatomic molecules moving in 2D, then its phase space dimension will be 30. Okay. Now we have to go for the triatomic molecules moving in 1D. First consider linear, then non-linear. Linear like this way. So here 2 constraints. So D is 1, N is 3, 3 constituent atoms. 3 minus 2 equal to 1. Dimension of the mu space will be equal to 2 into F equal to 2 into 1 equal to 2. So hence for the tau space, considering 5 triatomic molecules moving along 1D, it will be 5 into 2 equal to 10. Obviously it can be written 2 into NF equal to 2 into F, or here capital F will be 5 is nothing but degree of freedom of ensemble. So here for this case, phase space dimension will be 10. Now we have to consider triatomic moving 1D. Here you can see 1D means D equal to 1, N equal to 3, K equal to 1, 2, 3, 3 equal to 0. So degree of freedom is 0. That means here see this 2 atom is moving along 1D, okay, along x-axis, but this atom is in another dimension along y-axis. That means this and this, whenever moving, only x coordinate is required, but when this particle is moving, then y coordinate has to be needed. This motion along 1D could not be possible. That means this type of particle in this way it could not be possible. That means anyway one particle will be another plane. That means for another one particle it has to need both x and y coordinate to specify its position and corresponding momentum. So triatomic molecule motion in 1D could not be possible, so hence degree of freedom will be 0, dimension of the mu space will be 0. So obviously any number of particles we are going to consider also it will be 0. So in this way we have been discussed by considering 5 atoms for the tau space for different cases. So I suggest you have to write down the note, whatever we have been discussed in detail. I have been discussed, these are the basic things. So I suggest again and again you have to write down note. So therefore from our previous discussion it concluded that the state of a single particle, that may be atom or polyatomic, is then completely specified by 2f coordinates, which is called the mu space. Okay. Similarly, the state of n number of particles is then completely specified by 2 into capital F coordinates. Okay, that means the phase space tau space have 2f dimensions, mu space is 2 small f, 2 into f, here small f, 2f dimensions. So up to this much you have to write down your note. In our next class we have to discuss phase point, ensemble, pictorial representation phase point and ensemble, and its Heisenberg uncertainty principle and phase space, what will be the relation, density of distribution in phase space, and other things. Actually, at the end, in detail, I have been discussed, because in this way I want to find out the last expressions, that for microcanonical ensemble density has to be constant. For canonical ensemble it will be represented as this one, a e to the power minus e by kt, and for grand canonical ensemble a e to the power minus mu n minus e by kt. These expressions is required, but for your different type of derivations in the first or second unit, but at that time I have to use directly. So how it has to came this expression, for that the derivations in short I derived, but these are derivations is in your higher studies, you can study at that time, but I suggest that you have to write down those things in your note properly. Okay, so up to this much I suggest you have to write down carefully and watch the video. If you got some doubt you can ask me. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.